say what your role was in the film?
Yeah, I'm Adam Young. I was the writer, producer, editor and director of that film.
I'm Peter Curuthers. I was an actor in that film.
Okay, so do you want to tell us about putting the film together? What was the budget like for this one?
No budget at all. It was all I made in my own pocket, pretty much. Pretty much everything I kind of like saved up on my work shifts while I was making the film, and just whatever was needed. I basically made a shopping list of all the props that was required for the film. So like the broken mirror, the 3 white shirts we had to cover in blood for the takes we had to do in the living room scene. And the actual script itself was, the original length was 20 pages. And it was, when we were actually making the film, we actually shot the 20-page version, even though this was a university assignment. My tutor wanted it to be 10 minutes long. So I reduced it down to 10 pages, and that was pretty much what you just saw in 10 pages. But because of the performances of the actors and the way it was carried out, I didn't want to sacrifice or just take away too much and have the whole one rush piece, you know. So I was basically given some leeway to actually have the film at that length pretty much. And we actually do have a full 30-minute length version, which we're currently working on at the moment. Some parts we're salvaging, and we need to do a few extra, there's some parts of the film which went in there, like the backstory between the character of Richard and his son Michael, and showing more home video footage, and giving more background to the characters and just giving a bit more meat to the bones of the actual story. But obviously having to sacrifice for the sake of making the film fit into a schedule, that's to crack it down to about 15 minutes or so. But
did you think in some ways the discipline of making it shorter?
Yeah,
it's kind of
this was a big learning curve for me, because I kind of overlooked how complicated the script was when I wrote it, because I didn't realise how much when I into the whole thing. Because I thought, okay, I looked at it, I thought I had the locations in mind before I wrote the script, because I knew the lake, I knew the house I was going to be shooting in, I knew I was going to be shooting in offices and things like that. I had these all worked out before I actually wrote the script. Then,
that's not a conventional way of doing it, is it?
Well, I wanted to be able to make sure I've got the locations ready to go as soon as I wanted to film. But what I didn't look at was the fact that there was the visual effects part, for example, where he's talking to himself in a mirror. I wanted that entire scene to be him talking to the mirror, and the only one I managed to squeeze in, because what we did was we actually, I had Pete act in the mirror, and then have him act against the mirror, make sure he cross the mirror. I had a green screen on the mirror itself, and I was reading the dialogue with his other self back to him, right? And the thing was, when I actually tried layering the visual effects footage together, they were completely overlapping each other, because Pete had his own way of performing, and me just firing dialogue off him wasn't good enough. And so there was only that one piece of footage that was actually salvageable for the whole thing, where you just see them walking away. So that was a big learning thing for me. I was really ambitious with it, and I wanted to step back a bit. The next film's going to be a little bit more easy.
Is this your first film?
Not my first film.
First longer.
Yeah. Well, I've done a short film just 3 minutes long, and that was basically set in a cubicle pretty much. And the one after that was set in a hotel room. And this one's the first one I've done with more than one actor, for example, and more than one location. So, like I said, it was we got there in the end, but it was definitely a learning curve for me. That's for sure.
So when you say learning curve, things you learned, that less is more. Maybe.
Preparation is everything. I mean, it's the more time went on, because what it is, because I couldn't pay the actors and I couldn't pay the crew members, everyone still had to keep working in full-time hours. So it was finding time for everyone to be there on the same day, and finding the more conventional times of day to actually shoot it all. So when they're say Pete's full-time worker, he's got to be in the scene with Erica, and she's got to have time to work herself, but then the crew members got to have time to work as well. So it was all about preparation and making sure everyone was fit into a very strict schedule, and making sure it's convenient for everyone, but at the same time making sure progress is not falling back or anything. So it was definitely challenging for me as well, for I say no budget, and I had a deadline to work against, because this was, like I said, it was an assignment. So when did we start shooting this?
I think it was March last year, wasn't it, that we shot most of it? March. Yeah, I think it was an ambitious project for something to do for your final projects at uni.
Well, it works.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, he did his research, and he put a good script together. And when I read it, I thought, yeah, it was something I wanted to get involved in.
So how much of a contribution did you make to it? You just.
Well, it was just a performance, really.
I like the way because Pete's a writer himself, and he's working on stage. He's working on a play right now, aren't you? And there's parts of the script where I'll be telling him to do something, but then he'll kind of like, he'll hesitate and be like, well, when I read the script, I got this impression that he was behaving this way because of that. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't even think about that, you know. So it's like, it turns out that his idea was better than mine, even though I'm the one who wrote the script. But his interpretation was better than what I had in mind when I wrote it. So
that's good. It's good to be able to be that flexible.
Well, yeah, you know, I mean, I don't like the idea of suppressing everybody's ideas or suggestions just for the sake of it's my material. I want it to be the best it can be, and if their idea is better than mine, then I'm all for it. So
yeah,
it's usually the best way. You create the best material, but
I like the way you kind of underplayed the role. If you know what I mean, it wasn't like full on.
Yeah,
it was kind of like there's a simmering thing going on.
Well,
to the
I
end.
think as soon as I picked up the script, he looked like somebody who was scared and confused, basically. And that's what I did in the audition, and that's what you were looking for, really, wasn't it? So a lot of people came in and shouted and screamed and stamped their feet, and I think it's better to just play the reality of it. Yeah,
it really
put yourself in the shoes.
That's exactly why I went with Rick, because I auditioned. Tell you what, a lot of actors came in who had auditioned for the role of Garrett, which was a role Sam played. And if you're an actor, don't ever do this. But if you're going to an audition, you all say, "Yeah, but I'm more interested in playing the Richard role." And I was just like, "Well, yeah, I hired you because I wanted you to play the Garrett role, but I humoured them anyway. Let them play both." And it was all OTT, you know. It was just, I didn't like the idea of putting a camera on someone, having someone skits out, because when that, especially the audition. I narrowed down the scene with the mirror scene, the schizophrenic moment he has, you know, when you've got the whole personality thing going on. And they completely overdid it, and it was just too much, you know. I don't want it to be in the audience's face. He just had this whole like an eruption going on. He's just ready to explode, and the explosion he makes is actually on his best friend and his wife. And he's, like I said, he's just simmering the entire time, and you're basically looking at the guy, you're just waiting for someone to crack, but each part they were doing was just completely overdoing it. I don't want a guy going nuts for like 16 minutes of the film, you know. I want a guy who's just completely, everyone's got sympathy for him. But at the same time, it's like he's done a really bad thing. So, like I said, when I write the script, I researched dissociative identity disorder, which is when someone is put through a traumatic experience, the memory subconsciously suppresses those memories, you know, experiences, events, to make sure that they don't want to come to grips with it. The idea is he's put through a process by this interviewer fella. I don't know about the scene is that he attacks the interview and he gets taken away. And the interview basically was trying to make him snap the entire time. And as you see, what we did with the interview scene is every time we came back to the interview scene, they wanted the cameras to be closer on him. You know, I mean, usually it's like a wide establishing shot, but every time we come back from a flashback, the camera's lower and getting closer to the actual characters. So getting more claustrophobic into Richard's head, so to speak. So that's what I was going for again. So it's just the idea that it was just showing him these pictures and these objects. Like with the pen, for example, the pen he gave him to fill a questionnaire was the pen he used to stab his friend in the neck with. And there's another one where I want to explain why he was at the lake was because on a photograph I didn't get to. I couldn't find two young boys at the time to take a picture in front of the lake. Yeah, I tried, but I wanted to establish how he goes and the boy beside you, and he goes like, you know, yeah, it's my best friend Garrett, you know, we're lake, we used to hang out as kids, hence why Garrett found him. And stuff like when he's pouring water for him, and it's all just triggering memories, that's how it's supposed to be. It's like cognitive psychology, how, you know, as a child, you basically, what you see as a kid, how you kind of process information, and how you learn from it. And it's the same sort of process when you're trying to bring someone's memories back through such a, I think it's antiquated amnesia, I think it's called, what he has in the actual film. So that's the process. It's the same thing with the audience too. It puts your audience in his perspective as well, seeing these things and recognising them again later in the film. So
no, it's cleverly done. Questions?
Obviously, low-budget filmmaking, most of the people in this room, and directors finding actors and actors finding directors is quite a difficult thing. And obviously, no one's getting paid, so I assume the script of the work. You have to have mutual respect there. There's no rule book for this kind of thing. A lot of directors might leave uni and go, I've learned to be a director from the DVD, or actors have been told to work with directors that do such and such. I think what is apparent from the film and the way you guys communicate is that you have a really good working relationship, and I think you should be applauded for that. It's evident throughout the work. It's all about, like you said, you know, you've got pressures about the work, you listen to it, put about the writing and stuff. And I'm really interested in what you guys are going to do
Cheers. Like I said, I think Pete's probably the. I mean, like me and Peter have made friends ever since we made the film as well. I mean, we just like times we just hang out just for the sake of hanging out. Now it's just like I didn't know people when I made the film, and you know, I saw the guy as well when he came, and I thought, yeah, he looks crazy enough to be Richard.
So are you going to make another project together? That's all we can't want to know.
Yeah, I think it's important you find somebody you get on with so well, and you respect them in their profession, even though we're all doing unpaid and that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not.
As a person, I think it's important to highlight that, even the respect for each other.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
You've got going on.
Well, I'm working on a few more projects in line. Pete's not involved, but Pete's pretty fully booked for a few months now. He's actually got a lot of work because he deserved it too. He's a great actor, and yeah, Pete, you really go right now, man. Yeah, I'm working on other projects, but I do like to fire things his way while I'm at it for a second opinion too, because I like what he has to say, and he actually does have some like. I mean, some people they give feedback for the sake of giving feedback, you know, but everything he says is like it's bang on, spot on. It really, you know, it's really helpful information.
Yeah, cool. Any more questions? Okay, thanks a lot then.
Right.